We're really down to the absolute nitty-gritty of the 2016 Wiesbaden Tour de Ski. Mike Dixon alongside myself, David Goldstrom, for today's 10-kilometre mass start in classic stride and glide as the best women cross-country skiers, or a vast majority of them, come out onto the track, and a great atmosphere. Not the biggest crowd in the world, but all these women know that tomorrow comes the big climb. Heidi Beng currently in third place on the tour, cumulatively 2:27 seconds she has to find. As for Tiny Teresa, well, surprised to see her perhaps in second place, but she's 25 seconds down on her Norwegian teammate Ingvild Flugstad Ørsberg. And Ørsberg will be very conscious that tomorrow is not her cup of tea, the big climb, so today she wants to try and extend that advantage at least to a minute, if not a minute and a half. And if she can do that, particularly 90 seconds, she has a shout to win the overall title. It's not a chilly morning, as you can see there. Plus 4.3, 62% humidity, artificial course essentially, and there's the journey, and here's Mike.
Well, that's right, David. It's twice around this track, sorry, 4 times around this track of 2.5 kilometres, and it's not an easy start. They know this track so well from the World Championships. They raced on this track many times. Recovery after the first 500, then the big climb up to 950, so a 50-metre rise in effect up that one, and the descent technical back into the stadium, but 4 times. It's an energy zapping course with the 384-metre climb in total.
Well, here is the start list. It's a mass start, so the favourites right up front with those number bibs there. And, of course, Jessica Diggins will be feeling terrific, although this wouldn't be necessarily her cup of tea in classic style. So still Ørsberg and Johaug up front vying for supremacy. Beng right on her, or their ski tails, I should say, and then Parmakoski for Finland, and 4 there, Anne Kalonen. Well, that's really disappointing, because I think she's had a pretty decent tour. She was lying in 4th place, albeit 5 minutes and 15 seconds, but that's disappointing to see her languishing.
I tell you, what seems to have happened there with Ørsberg and Johaug vying so much for the advantages on the track, they've destroyed the field. It was a crazy pace, to be honest, the first 3.5, because of those bonus seconds. I thought it might slow down a little now, David, but it hasn't.
No, I think the tactics are there, and I think that Ørsberg has niggled at Teresa Johaug, beating her in the sprint, which she did quite cleverly and quite straightforwardly, and so now it's a question of the tactic for the race. Now, Teresa Johaug's got to make a move here at some point in this race to try and burn off Ørsberg, because Ørsberg will now be conscious of the fact, okay, I've made 3 seconds, that's good, but it's not enough, and so she's got to put distance between her and Teresa Johaug, and not only that, what she's got to do is win this. She has to win this to pick up another 15 seconds bonus. Do
you know, I think she's going through all these calculations in her mind, and each time we go down these fast descents, we see Ørsberg gaining some 10 metres on Teresa Johaug. Whether it's the skill into the corner and out, I don't know, but she seems to be faster skis today.
And Parmakoski there in 7th place. This may actually help Ørsberg, having a different leader, somebody else to chase. And clearly the skis of Parmakoski look as if they're very well prepared.
Yeah, the grip is fantastic, but this glide, remember last time into the stadium we saw Ørsberg going past her with ease on the descent, so Parmakoski's got great grip on the up, but you lose the fantastic glide on the down if it's too grippy.
Yeah, but look at this. I mean, she's really sped away. Heidi Beng in 3rd place, and Parmakoski obviously feeling really good. Parmakoski, of course, formerly Lautenmaki, an Olympic silver medal with the Finnish team in the Sochi relay. So this is a woman who has a terrific record, and 7th in the overall World Cup standings for the season. And all the exploits of Ørsberg have brought her in the overall World Cup to within 77 points of Teresa Johaug. So the beneficiary of the tour so far, no doubt, is actually Ørsberg. And Ørsberg also said, Mike, you know, she was runner-up to Johaug, and in both the 15-kilometre classic and the 10-kilometre classic previously in the Tour, both mass starts, and on each occasion she was saying that's the best ever classic race I've ever won, and today she has to make it a third.
An even better one.
An even better one, yeah, exactly so.
Well, look at this half distance, so 14 minutes. Time-wise, it's going to be a 28-minute, actually 27-minute 10K, I think.
Very difficult for Niskanen, 12 seconds off to actually get that back. I wouldn't say it's entirely impossible, but the pace up front there is a bit remorseless at the moment. And Charlotte Caller's travelling with Niskanen, but actually I wasn't particularly impressed with Charlotte Caller yesterday. She looked really sort of heavy on that descent into the stadium, and I was thinking yesterday that, you know, that 5-kilometre free would have been right, actually, you know, absolutely right for her. Didn't happen at all.
I'm just thinking back to the beginning of the season. In fact, the first 7 races of the season, David, Johaug at this stage would have left Østberg and Weng and Niskanen by some 15-18 seconds. She had incredible form. So I'm thinking her mindset, what's going through her mind now when she cannot break these 3 athletes?
What I'm looking at is the body language of Johaug here. I think she's having to work pretty hard there. She's found a little bit more, but she's actually, from my view, using a lot more energy than Weng and Østberg.
And I think especially Østberg, she's looking so easy, so technically brilliant. Each stride on the ski, she's covering a lot of meters, a lot of easy meters. But TdS, with a tiny little frame, she just has to go tempo all the time.
So Østberg at the back there of this quartet all of a sudden. But the interesting factor, the factor that we're waiting to see, is who is going to be bold enough to make the attack here to try and get away. There's Niskanen going through 13, Sadie Bjørnsen of America. Fantastic, really, that the Americans have won 2 stages at the Tour. What a boost for the whole women's squad.
It is, and especially 2 athletes. Kickin Randall has done it in the past on a tour where she took a sprint stage and I think the 5-kilometre or 3-kilometre prologue, but now to get 2 separate Americans in the same tour on the top of the podium. And maybe that's where Sadie Bjørnsen is inspired today. She's really out skiing her expected performance.
And how sad it is that we don't have a competitive Justyna Kowalczyk. Her first ever World Cup win, and she has 49 victories to her credit, Kowalczyk. 30 in the World Cup, 14 in the Tour de Ski. Was back in 2007, and that was a 10-kilometre classic race in Ottopa. But what a difference. And there, behind Charlotte Caller falling back and actually causing quite a bit of traffic problems. De Martin of Italy wearing 17. 23, Nathalie von Siebenthal also dropping back. She showed up really early, but she paid with trying to go with the early pace. And then 11, that's Laura Mononen of Finland. 7 coming up here. There's Haga, you just saw momentarily. And 4, Anne Kilonen. But these 4 are away, and they're just juggling with each other at the moment. Teresa back in first place, then Heidi Weng, and then Østberg and Parmakoski.
Do you know, it's like mind games, David, up the front here. One moment, TdS, I think she saw a little bit of weakness in Østberg, so it's inspired her to go to the front and try and do some damage, try and hurt Østberg more than she's hurting herself.
TdS Johaug knows how important today is.
She is, and I'll tell you what, David, she's just so close to snapping the rest of the field. They were beginning to just lose Teresa at the top of that climb. So I think the next climb, Teresa will be well aware of what's happening behind her and will push even harder on this next 26% climb coming up.
And look at this, Niskanen, who was 23 seconds behind at the stadium. That has stretched to best part of 30. De Martin for Italy in 6th place is the best for her country. Sadie Bjørnsen, 39, 40 seconds back. She's the best for the United States. Charlotte Caller has drifted back to a 41-second deficit. And the Swedes are not really at the races at all. And here is Kerttu Niskanen. And clearly, well, nowhere near as accomplished as Parmakoski, who, all credit to Parmakoski, she's really stuck to the task there and is sticking on the ski tails. 25 years of age, Parmakoski there. And I think she's doing the right thing at the moment because she's letting the Norwegians have the battle. Østberg on the right, Johaug in left and Heidi Weng in the middle.
Østberg always takes the best line up this hill, which is, yes, you take it wide on the bottom, but you cut it short on the top. And poor old Therese Johaug losing important meters and energy, I think, on taking that outside line. There she is, slipping away.
And I tell you what, look at Therese's shoulders. Look at her head. There's much more horizontal movement that we are used to seeing with Therese. The head's dropping and the shoulders are going a little bit from side to side. And that's a big telltale sign.
It is, and Østberg now needs to take some inspiration from this to keep pushing, to try and hurt Therese, try and break her, because the time is running out to that finish line.
Niskanen just going through here, Charlotte Kalla, and these are fantastic athletes, and they are just being eclipsed by the Norwegian and Parmakoski of Finland, and you just can't underestimate the actual ability and talent of the Norwegians. And it isn't by accident. They aren't all naturally born to be utterly fantastic. This is graft, this is hard work. It's what the Norwegians do for when they're kids in the clubs.
It is, it really is. I'm just noticing Kalla's skis were not gliding well, and Sadie Bjornsson's skis were beginning to give up, and that's where the Norwegians have such brilliant backup as well. Very rarely do they have a bad ski day, ski preparation day.
And remember, they've got this 700-meter climb. It's a really long drag, but then it's a downhill. Now that will favour Østberg. There's a spike before the stadium, and you can see there 9 kilometres now.
Well, that's it. It's just the easy part now, David, with the final massive climb, and Østberg desperately trying to get some advantage in this last kilometre.
She's just eking out a few millimetres, centimetres at the moment there. Parmakoski, well, it's still a decent race.
See, her skis are beginning to, just like Kalla's, where they're locking down. Slight temperature change on the course makes a difference.
Niskanen was 30 seconds off the pace here, and you can see there that she's just lost another second there, another second or two. But it's up front that we really need to stay with Østberg. This is the crucial moment. This is where I want to see Østberg. How much is she actually making on her two rivals? Is Weng finally going to get a first ever victory, a Tour de Ski success? And here they are all together. And Johaug still there as they come down towards the stadium complex. And of course Østberg, Weng, and then Johaug.
Johaug was putting the snowplow in, and they're killing her speed, just playing safe but losing some meters by doing that.
Yeah, it's not so much meters, it's seconds, and now Østberg's really got to go for home here. Every second will count here, and she's got a meter on Heidi Weng. This is the little spike that there is before the stadium. This is the last chance really for Johaug to get herself back on terms, and Østberg has to lead this all the way to the line now. From here, she mustn't give up the advantage. Weng staying on her ski tails, and Johaug isn't going to do this, I don't think, because Østberg surely's got the faster speed. It's all down to Heidi Weng, I think, to chase Østberg, who's increasing her tempo. Look at the tempo of Johaug, it's disappearing.
It's slipping, her skis are not working. Now this is significant, this at the moment, it looks like Østberg picking up 15 bonus seconds, and they've got rid of Johaug. She's slipping away over the top of the hill.
This is what we thought might happen. Johaug couldn't make it count on that big 700-meter climb, and now it's down to Østberg. Remember, this is a world and Olympic medalist, and at sprinting, this is how she came to fame after not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 junior world gold medals, and they come into the complex.
Well, I think Weng has now got an advantage over Østberg. She carried the speed. In fact, she's ahead of her already. Now Østberg needs to pull this back.
Yeah, she can't afford to give away 5 seconds. It's 15 bonus seconds for the first who crosses the line. Coming towards the line, Weng on the right and Østberg on the left. Weng, who's never won a World Cup race, let alone a Tour de Ski class, and she's got half a ski length ahead. And this is a red letter day. Heidi Weng wins her first ever World Cup race, and the stage denies 5 seconds to Østberg, and Østberg 6 seconds over
Well, just under, there's Usberg, just under 6 seconds, and then
well,
call
that 5, plus the 5 that she's got from the bonus, plus the 8.
Interesting for tomorrow.
That only gives her, by my reckoning, a 33-second advantage. But Heidi Weng, just let's rejoice in this 24-year-old Norwegian, third in the Tour de Ski rankings, third in the World Cup rankings, and finally she's cracked it, and she's beaten the Tour leader to do so.
A wonderful day for Weng, and you know a lot of that comes with self-belief. She keeps coming second. She's never had the first, and she really wanted that more than the rest today.
So some special days for a number of athletes today. So Heidi Weng, and there you have it. Finally. What a 48 hours. First Jess Diggins, who denied by less than a second Heidi Weng 24 hours ago in Toblach here in Val di Fiemme, finally nails it and becomes a World Cup winner as well as a Tour de Ski stage winner here. So a terrific effort from her, and many congratulations. So we look at the result of the race. Still the Tour de Ski standings to come. Hopefully we'll bring those to you in a moment, because that will set it up for the big climb for Alpe Ceramis tomorrow, live on Eurosport. And you can see here that the gaps were pretty big there. Jess Diggins, yesterday's heroine, down in 17th place, but she's established herself in the top 10 of the Tour de Ski. She's the leading athlete. Here's the winner, Heidi Weng, just about to speak momentarily, I think, and hopefully we'll catch up with her words.
I can't believe it. It's unbelievable. You're so close.
Well, there was a big, broad smile on Jess Diggins' face, and here's another winner.
You get to stand on the very top. You won today.
Yeah, it's so amazing, and it's so big for me, so I can't believe it. It's unbelievable.
You were so close in the sprint. You were so close yesterday. It must just feel so nice to just finally have it. You have won a World Cup on your own.
Yeah, in this last hill I was so tired, but I tried to stay focused and just use your you can take the in the sprint, and 400 meters I just clicked, and it was I can't believe it. It's so fun, and yeah, to go. I don't know.
Yeah, well, congratulations on your first individual World Cup victory.
Thank you.
Is that a happy young woman or not?
You know, I think we could say speechless there.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's just so happy. She can't express it. She's just delighted at last to take that win.
Yeah, and she's an outsider for tomorrow. So today was really essentially, not being silly, her last chance to win. And overall standings will come now. And it's 38 seconds. Well done, Mike. Your maths is spot on. Teresa Johaug, 38 seconds to find Heidi Weng, 2:26. Looks booked for third place on the tour.
Oh, look
Charlotte
at that,
Caller, 6:46. And then down to Jess Diggins, 9 minutes off. She is in the top 10. But it's all down to the big climb. It's all down to how much has Johaug got left, how much has Usberg got to give. Well, I really enjoyed that, and Mike, I hope you did as well. We're very privileged to see this sort of racing from the quality of these athletes.
And you know, 7th day of racing, David, it's huge. They're all exhausted.
And Usberg's had another little nibble at Johaug's lead. It's down from 77 to 74. And then Heidi Weng in a solid third place. Stina Nilsson for Sweden, the best non-Norwegian in the overall World Cup rankings for the season. But tomorrow it's all about the horrible, painful climb. And it's going to be catch me if you can. So it's a pursuit. And it means that Usberg will be starting off and saying to Johaug, Okay, I've got 38 seconds. I'm going to protect them. So she's got to try to build that in the first 6 kilometres, hasn't she? But she's still got to pace her energy for the climb.
Without a doubt. And then, Therese Johaug has only got one strategy tomorrow, and that is just attack. So I think that will be her strategy. Try and close Usberg down, if she can, as soon as possible. And I think that will disrupt Usberg if Johaug can bridge that 38.7. And then I would say it would go into the favour of Johaug if she can close the gap early.
From Mike Dixon and myself, David Goldstrom, thank you for watching. Back soon here in Val di Fiemme. Bye-bye.